there anybody here for public comment?
Come on up.
To behind Leslie, sort of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joel Williams. I am a resident of Hampton Falls. My oldest son, Joel, is a junior here at Winnicott. My youngest son, James, is a freshman. Both come through LAS after their entire career here. I'm here because from my understanding that we'll be talking tonight somewhat about the future of how we can co-fund a ski coach, AK, between a position in Seabrook and a coaching job here at Winnicott. So I feel obligated to come here and speak tonight largely because there is a busload of students who are dying to be here speaking tonight, but were told by Coach AK to stay on the freezing hill that is Gunstock tonight and to prepare for their meet tomorrow. And while all of them would love to be here to voice support, I know many of them have submitted letters and will let you know. So first of all, I'd like to thank you all for all the work you do here for us and for listening to me tonight. You're going to hear a lot about Coach AK and some letters from parents and from the kids, and how important he is to the ski team and how he can't be replaced. There simply are just not coaches of his caliber elsewhere within this SAU, or really within New Hampshire, that we could tap to replace him. Skiing is a unique sport. There's very few great coaches in this sport that even exist. You know, a lot of you probably haven't ski raced, so don't know it. I went to a boarding school, Holderness School in Clinton, New Hampshire. It is a world-renowned ski school. We every year send students to potentially compete in the Olympics. Have done so for 50 years. I skied there for 4 years back in high school before continuing on to Colby. So I know, we skied every day from Thanksgiving through spring break, trained or raced every day, noon to 4 weekdays, 8 to 4 weekends. I worked under some world-class coaches, highly decorated throughout the sport. So I know what a good coach looks like, and they're just not around. So somehow here in our SAU, we ended up with AK. I mean, Pat Snow, great coach as well, great character, great leader of men, and women. But to have a coach of AK's caliber is something unique, and that's available to us, and something that we quite honestly need to find a way to harness. So I understand that you guys are here because there's challenges when it comes to school budgets, and I imagine there's particularly challenges when it comes to budgeting in Seabrook versus budgeting in Winnicott. And how do you cost share that? The reason I'm here tonight is to tell you that I think we have to find a solution. If there's ever a coach or a team that deserves a solution for something like this, it's this team that you guys are looking at. So let's take a look at this team. I've had the honor now of 2 years going to the banquet. And those 2 years, they call every year, you guys do a great job. Scholar athletes. Only one student those entire 2 years has not achieved scholar athletes. You show me any other team at Winnicott where literally every student almost is a scholar athlete. Many of them, high honors. Not just one semesters, but most, if not all, semesters here at Winnicott. Look at how many of them compete in other sports. How many of them are on academic teams, like the math team, the debate team, the trivia team? I know my boys are on both. How many of them are part of the student government? How many of them are on the student superintendent's council? I know at least one of them, that is, because he's my son. How many are in the other clubs and extracurriculars here at Winnicott? If you look at the resumes of the kids on this team, they are the best of what Winnicott has to offer. And these kids did not become these wonderful young men and women in a vacuum. The reason they did it is because of their role models in their life. And one of those role models is AK, who has molded them and continued to inspire them to be the best they can be. So at the end of the day, I'm sure you've heard from all of them about the importance of AK and what it's meant to them each individually. All these accomplishments I mentioned today are actually the least important thing about this team. What makes this team special for me is it was all about a moment that happened in my oldest son's freshman year. 5:30 in the morning on a Thursday morning.
Excuse me.
This is a student.
Can I interrupt you? Usually we say 3 minutes and it's been 5, so.
Okay, I'll go really quick.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Sorry, thank you.
Sorry about that very much. I did not know
okay.
the rules of this, but I'll do my
Sorry.
best. honest. At 5:30 in the morning, my son sat outside, a freshman boy, and got picked up by a senior girl who was the captain of the ski team to bring him to a team breakfast. And no other place in social situation in the school would this have ever happened. And he was beaming. And the smile on his face that morning for being included was priceless. You know, you have other teams here where it's easy to build camaraderie. Both my boys are on the football team. Take a bunch of young men who have the same type of attitudes. You divide them by age with, freshman, JV, sophomore. Obviously, you build camaraderie because you have a fraternity among very like individuals. This team, however, is equally split between young men and young women in each grade. And of all the teams I've seen, I have seen rarely a team that has the camaraderie of this team. So I challenge all of you to go to the meet tomorrow or meet another week and to watch the ski team. Watch how the other teams deal with it and how this team does. They are unique. They have a camaraderie and a spirit that can't be matched. So there's something truly organic and special that Pat Snow and AK have created. In closing here, I just want to say that this Winnicott ski team and its coaches and its members deserve to be celebrated. And this team is a model that needs to be replicated. And yet here we are today talking about it possibly being decimated. And that just seems unfair. The kids and these coaches deserve better. These are the kids that honestly are part of the leading reason for the rankings of this school. And these are the kids that make this school so great and make our property values so high. And the coaches on those teams are the ones who made those kids who they are. For me, I'm in finance. This is a no-brainer investment. So I just implore you guys to please, please find a way to make this happen. These kids deserve it. So that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else for public comment? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to the approval of the minutes from the November 12th meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented on November 12th, 2025, public hearing and regular meeting.
Second that. All in favor?
Oh, I was absent, sorry.
It looks like I have one abstention. Everybody else is in favor? Right?
Yep.
Sure.
Motion passed.
All right, SAU 21 calendar.
Yes, so included in board docs is a draft calendar for the upcoming year. School is slated to start the 31st of August. That is a Monday, a week before Labor Day. And the day after Labor Day is projected as a teacher workshop day because that is the state primary day and many of our schools host elections and voting. Otherwise, it's pretty consistent with this year's calendar, shifted by a day. There's an early release scheduled for October 9th, workshop day for the state elections or the federal elections, state general election on November 3rd. Early release scheduled for Wednesday, December 23rd, the day before the holiday break. Early release on Friday, January 15th. School vacation in February, election day, teacher workshop day on March 9th. Workshop day for teacher Winnicott transition on, March 15th. I'm jumping ahead. Week of vacation at the end of April, an early release day in May, and the last day of school is projected to be Wednesday, June 16th for students with an early release. Our calendar does have time built in for makeup hours as needed and is in compliance with our requirement to align our calendar with the other SST sending districts with no more than 10 dissimilar days.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. I thought there was a requirement of 180 days.
Or equivalent hours.
Okay.
So we meet the hours requirements here in SAU 21, which
Okay.
just gives us a little flexibility around snow days and
Okay.
it's been our approach.
Thank you. I probably shouldn't have asked.
No, you should have asked. Not everyone would know.
Yeah, if you look in the administrative content, there's a line about the hours that are
Any other questions or discussion?
Motion to approve the SAU 21 calendar for the 26-27 school year.
Second.
And just to note, this does go also to individual boards for approval, but we try to start here with the hopes of staying aligned, but sometimes that does not happen for various reasons.
Okay, all in favor?
All right, that was unanimous.
Okay,
That vote's recorded.
so we'll go to policies, first read.
Yes, so just a short list of 3 policies for you for first read, and then one recommended for withdrawal. That policy has been replaced by the updated policy around use and location of defibrillators. The other is the policy around policy adoption, and a new policy from the School Board Association regarding subpoenas involving students, officials, employees, and their records due to the change in legislation last year that enabled the State Department of Education to issue subpoenas.
So those are there for your review, and then I'm assuming we'll do second read and approval at the next meeting.
Correct.
Okay, superintendent evaluation process. Do you want me to talk about that?
Sure.
Okay. So every year, obviously, I think everybody has been here for a prior year, maybe not. Okay, you haven't. So
Yeah,
every
you were
year, we do an evaluation for Meredith, and we complete the Google Doc. This document that's in Board Docs outlines the whole schedule. So Rhonda is gonna send all of us the evaluation by February 13th, and everybody on the board is eligible to participate,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
So all of us are eligible to take part in the board, the evaluation. You have to have been serving basically for a year. And then that is due,
I think we said Tuesday, March 3rd, right after
Yeah.
February break.
Tuesday, March 3rd, and then myself and Lacey will meet with Meredith at the Operations Committee meeting before or after and go over the evaluation with Meredith and compile like a letter, and then we will kind of have the opportunity to review it again at the March 30th joint board meeting. Are there any questions about that process? All right. It's very helpful if everyone can do it so that we have a lot of data and information. SBA training.
Yes, just briefly, I think most of you are aware the School Board Association offers a number of training seminars, so the calendar of those is attached. If you need any help registering, or if you have any trouble accessing the information, reach out to Rhonda. She has secret passwords to support you in accessing the trainings, but also just to let you know that the Operations Committee has agreed to have the School Board Association come to the March 30th joint board meeting to do an updated training.
Any questions about that?
No, looking forward to it.
So are they.
Finance report. Hi, Matt.
Hello. My apologies for the distraction. My tie and shirt, I can say, no, completely.
Oh, I can't even look.
It's, see, the problem is
What's
I
the
allow
matter?
my kids to choose my
Pattern
tie,
shirt,
and I
pattern
was,
tie.
I use that excuse too. That works.
well, when it comes out like this,
You cannot tell at all.
yeah, I want to distract you from the finances.
It's working.
So good evening.
Now I see it.
I have posted the fiscal year-to-date expenditure and revenue reports on board docs. Overall, we are tracking in line with our forecast. So the expenditure report does reflect an available balance of approximately $189,000. However, I want to note that this is largely due to the ESOL services being reduced district, so we will see a corresponding decrease in our revenue as well, so that offsets that savings. Additionally, what's not readily visible on the report is that we're using $100,000 from unreserved fund balance this year. As you recall, last year's budget, we had voted to utilize those reserves. So in sum, we are tracking to hit forecasts, but we do not anticipate having any available balance at the end of the school year. Similarly, on the revenue side, we are aligning with projections. As you know, we receive revenue via federal indirect costs with our federal grants. We have banking interest. If we were to receive a donation, that would be seen on the revenue side, and then we have the assessment by community. So to date, that looks like that's going to come in right at our estimate. I will note that the SAU is, I reference unreserved fund balance, and I just want to note that the SAU is not allowed to establish expendable trusts, so that unreserved fund balance is able to roll over from year to year for the SAU, as opposed to the school districts who are not allowed to roll over that unreserved fund balance. That balance goes back to the town to offset the property tax assessment. For the SAU, that balance is used for any unanticipated costs, should there be a building issue or emergency expenditure. It can be used to offset the district assessment. So that's what we did last year for this year's budget, is we're using $100,000 to offset the assessments to the towns. And then we also utilize those funds for our capital projects. So we do have a roof project and a fire alarm panel replacement project on our capital improvement plan. So those are upcoming projects that we'll likely utilize, or we plan to utilize that unreserved fund balance. So we are looking good for the remainder of the year. That being said, we still do have 5 remaining months in the fiscal year, so I always want to put that asterisk there. So any unanticipated expenditures from now until June 30th could affect that, but obviously I will update you if there are any changes. Any questions?
Yeah, Matt, can you make a comment about the energy rebates? It looks like we got more than we forecasted.
Yeah, so we entered into a group net metering agreement with a hydro company. So that's a manner of monetizing our tax credits. We don't generate electricity via solar or some other sustainable energy source. So that's a way for us to essentially do so, or outsource those credits. So each of our districts receive that revenue source, but it comes to the SAU.
Okay.
So it typically comes towards the end of the school year, so you only see a couple $1,000s on the report now. However, we've received up to about $60,000, $70,000 in revenue from there, but it's a range because it's highly dependent on rain, because it's hydroelectricity. Also, the hydro plant was down for a period of time for repairs, and that affected our revenue streams. I'm giving you much more information than you asked for.
How about all this extra snow? Is that going to get us anything? Would it help?
However, it's a great tool to monetize those tax credits, and each of our districts do benefit from that revenue source. It all comes into the SAU at the end of the year. We will distribute to each of the districts. I will note that Northampton is outside of the hydro agreements because they use Eversource, so Unitil can use hydro. Northampton, we have a separate agreement for solar group net metering.
So I forgot that we need to amend the agenda tonight to discuss hiring of a part-time ESOL teacher. So you said I can just make a motion?
You could make the motion or
Or
ask
is
for a
someone
motion.
willing to make a motion that we amend the agenda?
Make a motion that we amend the agenda to discuss hiring a part-time.
Part-time.
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
That one.
Rhonda, write it up.
Seconded.
Second from Tracy.
All in favor? Okay. Everybody. Do you want to do that now or after the counseling program plan?
We can, either way. Would you like to do it now?
Yes.
Okay. So as you know, we didn't hire a full-time ESOL teacher coming into this school year based on the incidence of student need. And so that has changed. And so at this time, we have posted for a part-time ESOL teacher to provide services to students who are speakers of other languages. We anticipate that need to be about 0.5, so we do have the funding available that is billed back to the district, so it's not an overall impact to the budget, but it is a student need. We're asking that it be added to the agenda tonight to potentially give me the authority to hire between now and your next meeting, because otherwise you don't meet till the end of March and the students are with us now. So we would bring you the information if you chose to go in that direction. Otherwise, I would ask that we try to schedule an emergency meeting or special meeting, once we have a candidate to bring forward to you.
And then each individual district would also have to okay this?
No, so this is an SAU level position. The ESOL position was budgeted in the SAU budget, and then it's billed back to the districts based on their services. In this case, the needs are all in one district. So we would be looking to fill a position.
So the choice is we approve to give you authority to hire between now and the next meeting, or we have to schedule.
Correct. So it would either be like what you do with summer hiring, right, where I have the authority to hire in the months of July and August, and I bring you the information at your August meeting or your September meeting, depending on the timing. Or I would ask that the board be prepared to come to a special meeting to allow us to hire once we have a candidate identified. We don't need to do that.
Make a motion that you're allowed to hire.
A second.
Yeah, that's all it needs to be, right? Yeah.
All in favor? Oh, Gisella. All in favor? Thank you, Meredith.
Thank you.
Have you had applicants?
So we will it was only posted recently, so the application process is still open. If anyone out there is looking to work part-time as an ESOL teacher, we are looking for good applicants. But we hope to, I think the application process closes next week, Dr. Toomey. So we will go through the process at that point and hopefully get someone started soon.
Great, thank you.
All right. K-12 school counseling program and plan.
Yeah, so Dr. Toomey can give a brief overview. I know you all had this in your packet, so you've had time to review.
Thank you so much. I don't have a little quip anecdote to start with. Hard to follow Matt.
But your scarf matches your blouse very nicely.
All finance.
So last August, as we were preparing to open the new school year, the superintendent and I were reviewing the requirements for ensuring that the SAU has a K-12 school counseling plan. We did have a plan in place. It was rather thin and really kind of reflected most of what was happening at the high school campus. And we felt a need to kind of go out and see if we could do a better job with a more comprehensive plan. And we started to dig in. I felt that the folks that I meet with monthly, we call the behavioral health team, consisting of our counselors, our school psychologists, our social workers, would be the people that we would want to engage in this process. And so we've been working on that with the goal of having a final draft ready for you to peruse this evening at the January meeting. We started by aligning what we wanted the plan to be around the American School Counselor Association model. And that model, if you fast forward through the 3, you will see that it has interconnected domains of foundation, management, delivery, and accountability, and that's defined for you there, and that's really kind of what our starting point was. Interestingly enough, on page 4, you'll see a graphic that is notable for New Hampshire being one of only 2 states that consistently meets the ASCA's recommendation of student-to-counselor ratios, which is 250 students to every counselor. And that's a positive foundation for high-quality program implementation. So something that we can be very proud of here in SAU 21 and across the state as well. The next few pages talk about the foundation for this work, and we wanted to include our Portrait of a Learner framework, being that that's very important work that our counseling staff is very much engaged in. So some information about that there that you'll see on those pages. And then we start program delivery, which is taken right from the regulation that we all adhere to in our policies. And then the staffing plan comes again from the regulation, but we also included where we are currently in SAU 21 for our assignments for this school year. The plan is meant to be a 2-year plan and just reviewed every time we get to that 2-year cycle. So this is where we are. This is a snapshot of where we are currently for this year. And then a little mention of the behavioral health team. I wanted to shout them out because they're a wonderful group of people that support one another, provide professional learning to one another, and really seek to do wonderful work with all of the students that we have in our schools. We have some goals starting on page 11 that you can take a look at, and an implementation timeline that for the next 2 years, where we hope to bring you an interim progress report next year at this time and let you know how we're doing toward our goals. And then finally, the plan ends with school-specific curriculum calendars from each of the schools. The school principals, along with their counselors and their behavioral health teams on site, really dug deep to create these school calendars. They're sort of broad, but they really do reflect the work that goes on in each of our schools, and they're unique to each school. So we wanted to ensure that we were giving all of our districts voice as part of this counseling plan, and I think they did a fabulous job. And we're ready to ask you to please approve this plan for us. There's some resources at the end and some addendums also for you to take a look at. So hopefully you've had a chance to peruse it. It's a little bit more comprehensive and thicker than what we had before, but we think it fills a need, and we will be sharing it. We'll be linking it in our handbooks. We will be posting it on our websites, and with your help, ensuring that the word is out about the great work that goes on here in our SAU. Any questions?
I will just note that the Hampton Falls board members who stepped out have stepped out to attend their children's concert down the hall, so they will be returning.
And I don't think we can vote until
I think we do. We have 12.
Oh, wait, we have 12, even with Tracy gone? Okay.
No questions for me?
No,
Well, thank you very much.
thank you. Before we vote, I'm just gonna say,
I'll get it.
it's our last call for public comment, if anyone wants to make public comment. Okay, so we're gonna close public comment at 6:35. And then we're gonna make a motion, or I need a motion for the school counseling program plan.
I'll make a motion to adopt the K-12 school counseling program as planned. I'll second.
Thank you, all in favor?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Okay, do you want me to read off these?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm just gonna read off the deliberative session dates. So we have Seabrook's, deliberative session is gonna be Monday, February 2nd at 7 p.m. They have a board meeting prior at 6 p.m. Northampton's deliberative session will be Tuesday, February 3rd at 7 p.m. with a meeting prior at 6. Southampton's will be Tuesday, February 3rd at 7 as well with the meeting at 6. Hampton Falls deliberative session will be Wednesday, February 4th at 7 p.m., meeting at 5 p.m. And the Winnicott School Board deliberative session will be Thursday, February 5th at 7 p.m. with a meeting prior at 6 p.m.
Nothing on Friday? Come on.
Well, it's a snow day. So fingers crossed.
And then we have our upcoming meetings. The Operations Committee will meet on Monday, March 9th, and then the next joint board meeting will be on Monday, March 30th. And then we are gonna move on to non-public session. So we'll need a roll call.
Motion to enter into non-public under RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, A and C at 6:37.
Second that.
Okay, Alex?
Here.
Andrew?
Here.
Yes.
Yes.
Ashley? Casey?
Yes.
Desiree?
Yes.
Gisella? Not present. Hillary?
Yes.
Jason?
Not present.
Not present. Lauren?
Yes.
Leslie?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Renee?
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
Tricia?
Yes.
Have I missed anyone? That was everybody, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You will be going into non-public now.
We just need a little minute to reset, and I'm waiting for one.